2 years after Lacey Fletcher was found melted into her parents' couch, there are finally updates in her case. At 14, Lacey was a freshman at Brownsville Baptist Academy, but she actually never went back for her sophomore year. That following spring of 1999, her parents pulled her out, with the only explanation being that her autism was accelerating. As we know, over the next few years, Lacey still played with her old friends from school. She was known to act a bit younger than her age, being 17 and still loving children's movies, but she was well liked by everyone until the day she stopped coming around. Officially, we know that one of the family's neighbors last saw Lacey in 2007 when she would have been 21 years old. And like everyone, he assumed that when he didn't see her again, she'd probably gone off to college and started her own life. Come 2016, it's been 10 years since that neighbor saw Lacey, and he's having a conversation with her dad out by their front lawns. She would have been about 30 at this point, so he asked how she was doing and if she moved away, but her dad was quick to say she's still here and she's fine. He reportedly immediately changed the subject, and no further questions were asked. His wife even went on to become vice mayor, as their daughter was eaten alive by maggots on their living room couch. Again, as we know, it was January 3rd, 2022, when Sheila finally called police. She said she just woke up to find her daughter deceased, but when officials got to the scene that day, it was so much worse than that. According to the coroner, he walked through the family's perfectly cut lawn before being confronted with an odor that not even he had smelled before. The house was clean and in perfect condition, except for this couch in the middle of the living room. It seemed to just be covered in feces, but upon taking a closer look, it was clear that this was what was left of Lacey. Horribly, Lacey was not found on her parents' couch, but inside of it. She was sitting crisscrossed and buried up to her shoulders in a hole that her body had worn down over 12 years. There were maggots all over her, along with rotten flesh and holes down to the bone. As the coroner packed her into a body bag, her parents reportedly just stood in the kitchen with no explanation as to what could have happened. In the end, an autopsy would report that Lacey died of sepsis due to bone infection, immobility, malnutrition, and severe chronic neglect. She had COVID when she died, and the only thing in her stomach was feces and sofa foam. She weighed 96 pounds at 36 years old, and again, it was estimated that she was on that couch for 12 years. Now, unbelievably, Lacey's parents weren't interviewed by police until 3 weeks later on January 18th. And they said that Lacey had social anxiety and that staying on the couch was a personal choice that she made, that they never brought her to the doctor because she wasn't sick, and they even set up a fresh change of clothes in a toilet next to the couch for when she, quote, was ready to get up. The thing is, Lacey couldn't have gotten up even if she wanted to. A lot of news sources report that she had locked-in syndrome, but she could still swallow and consume food and liquid without a tube. It was actually refuted by the coroner, but I don't think we can know for sure. Today there are a lot of theories as to why Lacey didn't get up, but regardless, after that first year or so on the couch, she physically wouldn't have been able to. Sheila and Clay Fletcher were ultimately arrested in May of 2022, and the jury decided that they should be charged with second-degree murder. They initially pleaded not guilty, but then this week they formally agreed to plead no contest to a reduced charge of manslaughter. Since Lacey's death, the family attorney has unbelievably released a statement that reads, quote, "They loved their daughter to death. That is the true statement of the Fletchers." She is described by her old friends and neighbors as a sweet girl who loved Disney movies, country music, and volleyball.